Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live. I hope you are well today. Another Tuesday CSS critique show that may have some problems, but I have backup. Always have backup, contingency plans. So for some reason, the videos that I emailed myself from my phone to my computer have not gone through yet, and it's been over 15 minutes, which makes no sense. I might not have those available. So we may have to resort to some most recent reels and TikToks that I just posted as the secondary option. So we'll see that when we get there. Um, I will pull these up just to see if they're available. Check intermittently throughout the this process, but regardless, we still have plenty of options to look at from three different sources. If you're ever looking for combat swimmer stroke critiques, I really have three different really good sources now. And that is TikTok, Instagram Reels, Stu Smith 50 code or screen name, and YouTube. But also, I'm activating the YouTube Shorts because most of these critiques are under a minute long. So work really well for the YouTube Shorts as well. So three options for you for backup. If you are looking for feedback on swimming strokes, and usually what I do is I try to post very common mistakes that people do no matter who I'm teaching. Whether you are a swimming athlete or you're a non-swimming athlete trying to learn the combat swimmer stroke for future military service, that is what I share. And everybody has a little bit of critiquing. Sometimes it's minor, sometimes it's completely not understanding the stroke, and we got to, start from the very basics. And there's everywhere in between. So check out those resources if you have not yet. But what I will do is I will continue to go back through my email just to see if any of these have popped up. I mean, put it this way, I sent them to myself twice today because I noticed the first round didn't go through about 30 minutes ago. So a little bit screwed on having videos to share with you directly from my computer, but I'll just share um, recent videos that I just posted because I got some good ones there too. So if you guys have questions, you can go ahead and start asking them, and it can be anything. It doesn't have to be about swimming, but it can be. Some people have basic questions about running because why do people have issues with running right now, this time of year? Because I'll tell you why. Because they didn't run all winter and they started running when the weather started getting nice, and now they have shin splints. Happens every fourth or fifth week of spring. Not that we're quite there yet, but we're getting close. Usually by mid-April, people are suffering shin splints or knee tendonitis for just doing too much too soon and didn't adhere to a nice logical progression for beginner runners. One of the smartest things you can do if you haven't run in a while is treat yourself like a beginner. And what that means is maybe just limit your running to a mile or two a day max. And that's if you're not overweight. If you're overweight, cut it down even less. Mix in more walking than running. Walk a little, jog a little. But you're probably going to want most of your cardio focusing on non-impact cardio. So biking, rowing, elliptical, things like that, especially if you're trying to lose weight and want to start running. Now, it sucks because the weather's nice and probably should have started the non-impact cardio during the winter so you can lose a little weight and start mixing in some running in the spring. That's usually the best combination, but your knees will hate you and your shin and feet will hate you if you run too much, too soon, too fast while you are too heavy. Statistics don't lie. Over 50% of all people who try to start running wind up getting injured. And there's a reason for that. They just do too much. And there's no one right answer for you. Like there's a beginner running program that may be a great beginner for some. It may be too easy for others, maybe too hard for some. So be smart when you start this. So looks like don't have any questions yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. First, I'm going to check, see if any of those videos came through. And I am just going to quit checking because they are not. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share what I just posted yesterday up on, let's go Instagram Reels. So I haven't shared this page in a ever. So this is my Instagram Reels page. As you can see, it is just your standard Instagram, but this is the Reels section. So you just click this little area here and you start scrolling. And what do you know? A whole bunch of CSS videos. Every now and then I throw something funny in there. I also like taking pictures in the morning. So these are some of my morning pictures that I enjoy. This is a great one, guy about to go swimming. It's just one of those mornings, just sunrise is up, just getting after it. So, but let's go to swimming. So we're just going to start right here. Kick off the wall, double arm pull, transitions, top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold that glide. It's really good. Yeah, not a whole lot to add. Got a little extra flutter kicking movement than I care to see. But, you know, good streamline, comfortable in the water. He does have some shoulder mobility issues, and you can see every time he swims right. That's because his ability to get his biceps on his ears um, is a little bit uh, not as mobile as it should be. He can work on his mobility, though. It'll come. That's not bad. Yeah, I like this. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold that glide. Let's see how long he holds the glide. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. You should be able to be moving for that 2, 3 Mississippis. I wouldn't go much more than that because the average kick won't allow for you to glide for 4 Mississippis unless there's two things that are occurring. One, you have a very strong kick, and two, you have a perfect streamlined body position. Put those two together, you might be able to squeeze 4 Mississippis out of a glide and still actually be gliding at a yard per second. Yeah, so I'll show this one next. So let's see who we got. Victor, how are you, sir? I have your phase 4 book, Key to Mental Toughness. I believe it's the 19 edition. If I understand correctly, you've created a new version of it. I have, and it is a newer version, new cover, new everything, updated workouts, similar, but a lot different. And something we're going to do actually, first week of May, we're going to do this Hell Week simulator that's in here. And it's basically you're just turning three workouts a day. You don't really go too crazy with the increased volume. So I'm not trying to break people by have them go from 20 miles a week right now to 50 miles a week during Hell Week simulator. It's not really what I'm doing. What I'm really focusing on is just making all of our workouts a little bit longer, and doing things that are just a lot more uncomfortable. So pretty much everything's going to be wet and sandy. There's a lot of low crawling, fireman carry, injured man drills, rucking, swimming with fins, running, wet and sandy, doing upper body PT, lower body PT. So we'll still do like the upper body, lower body PT splits with some load bearing activities in there. But yeah, we're doing it. First week of May, we're going to do it. It'll be fun. So how I'm going to set this up is we're going to go to the beach where we do our Friday runs every day. We're going to go to the beach 5 days that week. First thing in the morning, 6 a.m. and do our runs and do but they're all wet and sandy. One day it'll be an upper body day, one day it'll be a lower body day. Then we're gonna do that for a couple hours, bear crawls, low crawls, all the whistle drills, things, just doing a lot of flutter kicks and stuff like that, wet and sandy. Just getting uncomfortable. Then we're gonna take a break, eat, and you got to bring your own food, or you get to eat an MRE, which I'll bring. And then we're gonna swim. And after that swim, we'll do some more wet and sandy drills, and then we'll take a break, eat lunch on your own, and then come back in the afternoon and get a third workout in. And that's how we're basically going to simulate Hell Week the best we can. I think the last night, some of the guys are pulling an all-nighter just to stay awake all night. I'm not doing that, but some of the more motivated guys are. And we'll see how they do on Saturday. So, should be fun. How would you progress into running after a meniscus surgery? That's a tough one. If you're still trying to stay on track with your seasonal tactical fitness periodization, that's a tough one because running, with less cartilage could mean some bone on bone issues. If you're heavy, it's a lot harder to do. If you're a lighter style runner, um, it could be done, definitely. Something I would do personally is try to make your running, one, get a good pair of shoes, two, get some softer ground to run on. If you can avoid asphalt and concrete, I would avoid it and find grass, turf, a track, rubberized track, dirt trails, things like that, just to bring down the impact forces that are going to be shooting up your leg every time you run. That is how I would do it. That is how I actually do it with people who are beginner to running, but are athletes that just haven't run a lot of miles. And if we're doing some miles, they want to just see how they do in a 4 miler and they've never done a 4 miler before, I'll make them run on softer ground versus the concrete. So that's a younger athlete, though. Good morning, Stu. Any tips on how to keep your hips high in the CSS? That's that's a tough one because I've seen a lot of people drop their hips, and usually it's associated with popping your head up because your body tends to act like a seesaw in the water. You pop your head up, your feet are going to drop, your hips will drop. Some people say it's a core um, engaging, which I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I guess I do it without thinking about it. So explaining it to somebody like engage your core when you're swimming, I I haven't been able to verbalize that very well. It'd be kind of like explaining somebody how to swallow, right? How do you do that? You just do it. It's a hard one to explain. Um, so I don't have any good coaching tips on that other than make sure you're rotating to breathe versus popping up to breathe. The little tips I use when I'm seeing people drop is usually because their head's popping up, not because of anything else. But it could also mean you have a weak kick. So there's a couple of things you could do with that, which I even put in the description of here of fix your kick. I got a guy doing this one today, actually. I didn't film it, but I should have. But basically, it's you get a kickboard, practice that kick, hold the glide for as long as you can, as long as you're moving, and then kick again. No arms are being used. You're just kicking and gliding, kicking and gliding. And you do that for 25 yards across the pool. Then you do 50 without it, just to practice the new kicking that you're practicing. And then you grab every 50, you grab that kickboard for 25. So it's 25 kickboard, 50 without. Do that 10 times. That's 750 yards of swimming workout. It's a good kick workout. That is probably going to be the number one and number two ways to get your hips higher. Work on a better kick and keep your head down. Turn to breathe like you're doing freestyle versus like you're popping up doing breaststroke. Let's see. Any advice for time management, in particular for someone who needs to work out multiple times during the day for selection? Yeah, you know what? Everybody's a little bit different with that. I personally work out from 6 to 8 in the morning because it doesn't interfere with my family time. So most of my family is sleep or just waking up by the time I'm coming back from a workout, whether that's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'm done. Right, my day is done. So I try to get majority of my workouts before it interferes with my normal schedule. Then, if I can, I'll try to get a second workout in during lunch. Most of the time, that's a swim, or if the day is really nice, it'll be a run. Um, and then, if I have to, if I've missed something and it's a long workout day and I had to break it up a third time, I would get in a lift just before or after dinner. Um, but I will say this, if you're lifting late, it does boost you a little bit, and it's going to be hard to go to sleep if you're trying to get to sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock. You want to do that closer to like 5 or 6 if you can do that. So I rarely do that. I usually get my stuff done. If I'm going a second workout, I'm getting it done at noon during lunch. And sometimes I'll run to the pool, swim, and then run back. So it depends. I could make that a workout, like a weight room workout, because there's a weight room by our pool if I wanted to, or I could just go to my carport and lift during lunch. It really depends. Everybody's a little bit different. I did write an article on time management, believe it or not. In fact, let me see if I can find it. I always have a hard time finding this one for some reason. It's on military.com. Let me see if I can find it here. Did a podcast on it. Podcast number 39, time management. Me and a buddy of mine did that. Managing your time to prepare for Army Basic. How to balance daily commitments. This might be it. With training and recovery. Check this out. This may be a good one for you. I don't think it's the one I was necessarily looking for, but it's pretty good. This one's on my site, so yeah, there's one on military.com that let me see if I can military.com search. How to make time for working out. Boom. I think this might be it. Yeah, I think this is my personal experience of playing a sport in college, going to college, and preparing for Spec Ops all at the same time. Check that out. It's a good little article. Let's see. Where are we? When I kick, I tend to splash a lot. Yep. Probably you may be on your belly when you're kicking and your legs coming out of the water. Try to be more on your side so your legs are parallel to the surface of the water. And if that's an issue, if you're parallel to the surface of the water, then you have a wonky kick and you're not doing a scissor kick. It's like a broken pair of scissors. Now it also depends on what kind of kick you're doing. If you're doing a breaststroke kick on your side, probably your top leg's going to come out of the water. If you're doing a scissor kick on your side, both are going to be underwater. If you're doing a breaststroke kick on your belly, it's probably fine. If you're doing a scissor kick on your belly, one foot's going to come out of the water. So think about that. Can I still do the workout of the Navy SEAL grinder phase 4 workout, the key to mental toughness, on my own? I don't have any partner to do this with. You can try it. I mean, it's you just have to get creative with it. It's going to be tough. If you don't have a partner to carry, bring a sandbag. Carry a sandbag with you, because there's some fireman carries in there. So carry something. It can be a farmer walk too if you don't want to do a fireman carry over your shoulder. Do you guys ever do any sort of wall sit or lunge hold? I've been doing them recently and they've really helped with my runs. Yeah, we do a lot of lunges, not necessarily lunge holds, but we do wall sits too. Something I've been playing around with, I have this death by push up, death by pull up routine. Playing around with death by wall sit. Got the idea from one of my guys while he was stuck at boot camp trying to work his legs, and he was doing a bunch of wall sits. And he said he could do them anywhere. He'd stand in the back of the room, like if they were in a presentation, because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say, if you're doing some training in a classroom and you're about to fall asleep, they'll say, get in the back, stand up in the back. So he'd go in the back, stand up, and would mix in some squats and lunges, and not a whole lot, just some, just to kind of keep moving. But then he started doing wall sits, and then he started doing a death by wall sit where he would hold a wall sit for a minute and then do some squats, and then he would start applying that to before his day started in the morning on leg days. But yeah, a lot of lunges and some wall sits. Yeah, so here's what I'm planning for the next wall sit. We're going to start off at 5 minutes, do a 5-minute wall sit, which really sucks. And then every minute on the minute, you do 10 push-ups. 10 squats. We do the same thing with death by push-ups, but it's a 10-minute plank every minute on the minute, 10 push-ups. That's a tough one. Makes you see Jesus a little bit, because you are definitely engaging some repetitive boredom, mental toughness, pain combination in there that I think is really beneficial. I'm 19, 6'2", 185. I'm running quite a bit. Got a half marathon done last year. Okay, good. I have passed ACL, meniscus, MCL surgery from high school, but I am getting another meniscus in June. Damn. I have 2 questions for you. How long and how often would you recommend me to run if I just recovered from IT band syndrome? Oh, never mind. That's a different person. So just worried about getting back into running after this hopefully last surgery. Huh. Yeah, that's a lot going on with those knees. Um, my first recommendation is, it depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to serve? Right? If you're trying to just run marathons, that's fine. I'd probably get a little lighter if that's the case and be a runner. But if you're trying to go spec ops, I would probably stop running marathons or half marathons and actually work on some leg stability, with some weights and lunges and wall sits like we just spoke about. But I would definitely not even talk to a recruiter until 1, you're crushing the PST at a minimum, and 2, you've dealt with all this and you can run 35, 40 miles a week without any pain going on. Because I promise you, when you get to any selection, whatever that is, if you're considering to serve, you're going to want more stable, more durable knees. So, all right. So, question that came in between those two was, I have 2 questions. How long and how often would you recommend to run if I just recovered from IT band syndrome? Any running shoes you would recommend for someone with flat feet? Oh, I don't know much about the flat foot issue. I've seen some people who like New Balance with flat feet. I personally like these. I don't necessarily have a high arch, but I like these. These are really nice. These are ultras. Nice little wide toe foot. So if you got a fat, flat foot, spread out nicely here versus getting all cramped up. I like these for that. How long? I mean, I would start maybe mixing running with biking and make sure you're stretching and foam rolling and massage tooling, anything that aches you. But I would treat yourself like a beginner if it's been a very long time running. So that means maybe a mile a day for the first week and then increase that by 10% each week. So that means not very much the next week or the week after. Sometimes by week 4, if you're doing this, you're probably going to want a few days off because you're starting to feel the aches and pains of running again. Um, I'm just speaking in generalities here, but I wouldn't jump back into where you left off with running, put it that way. That's a recipe for more injury and pain. Treat yourself like a beginner and build up progressively. Prior to buds, what's the ideal 3 to 4 mile time, 3 to 5 mile time you want to be at? Well, first of all, there's no 3 and 5 mile timed run at buds. It's a 4 mile timed run. But I will tell you this, if you're running a 3 miler, you want to be close to 6-minute mile pace. If you're running a 5 miler, you want to be in between that 6 and 7-minute mile pace, and it's okay to be at the 35-minute mark, because what I try to do is try to get people to run 6-minute mile pace for 1.5 mile, 2 and 3 mile timed runs. So those are all above average scores. And then I try to get them to a 7-minute mile pace for 4, 5, and 6 mile timed runs. So it's 2 different paces that you need to learn for those 2 different distances. So 6-minute mile for your PST, 7-minute mile for your 4 miles and above timed runs. Every week at Buds, you'll have a 4 mile timed run, and I would recommend being in that 28-minute zone, not as a gut check, max effort event, but a nice, even on a bad day, you can do 28 minutes. That requires some time, and it also requires building some aerobic base that you can actually do that and not fall apart on a 7-minute mile pace. 28 minutes, 4 mile timed run is great. You have 32 minutes to fail it in first phase, 31 to fail it in second phase, and 30 to fail it in third phase. I don't like playing around with those minimum standards, because if you're flirting too close with that, chances are on a bad day, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with that minimum standard pace. I've used your shin splint progression for running before, and we'll probably look back at it after the surgery. Yeah, that works. That works. It's a good article. Let's go back into sharing a screen here real quick. We'll go back to the Instagram page. This is one of my favorite swims because it's me swimming, showing people how to do it. This is how I do it. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. There you go. So this is like a 48-second swim here. If you were to time it, notice good streamline, double arm pull, not too deep, but could be a little shallower, I think, when I look back at that one. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Nice. So just working on streamline. I could probably be a little better on the streamline here and keep my head down. Keep the biceps on my ears, be a little straighter. But, this is a one stroke here, 2 strokes. And I usually count how many times I breathe across the pool as a stroke, because you got to breathe every stroke. There's 4. And here's 5 and a kick, and you're on the wall. So 5.5 strokes to get across 25 yards. It's pretty efficient. I've seen guys do it in 3 or 4, but usually they're competitive swimmers. This is a good, efficient way to do the stroke. If you're doing anything over 6, you're kind of wasting some energy. So you want to try to be as streamlined as you can and just glide it out for those 3 seconds. And if you notice, I'm still getting a yard per second, even though I'm gliding for 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. See, so it's a nice steady pace. And this is a 48-second 50, which is an 8 flat. Easy day. So there you go. I'll show another one here in a minute. We'll go to TikTok on the next one. I posted a really good one yesterday on the TikTok page. And if you, by the way, if you don't, let's see, if you don't want to get the TikTok app on your phone, I get it. Don't do it. But if you would like to just see the videos I post on TikTok, you can just do it. Go to a computer and go to tiktok.com, and this is the website that you can go straight to my page, tiktok.com @StuSmith50, and that's my page for TikTok. And there's no apps to sign up for. You can just watch videos. So give it a shot if you want to do that. Let's see, comments. What advice do you have to obtain a stronger scissor kick? I can glide to half of a 25-meter pool and then use 4 to 5 strokes, but is there any way to get faster? You know what? Probably best way for me to answer that is for you to send me a video of you swimming 50 meters, just like these guys do. I will say that I kind of need to see it, see if your kick is that messed up, or if maybe it's your streamline that's slowing you down. Maybe it's your arm pull that could be better. Usually it's a combination of all 3 of those that make you faster. So when I see it, I can tell you, yeah, you need this, this, or you need all 3. But just off the top of my head, it's either your streamline slowing you down, your top arm pull is not powerful enough, and your kick is not powerful enough. So I posted already what I recommend for the kick in this previous. It's fix your kick CSS help. I put it in the comment section already, so check that out. Let's see. Before I go to the my video, I want to answer this next question, because this is a very good question. So why should we give so much attention to train the CSS without fins, while inside buds the majority of swims are with fins and also include the time swims, 2-mile swims in the ocean every week? Well, here's the deal. You're not going to get 2 buds if you don't practice the CSS and hit a competitive time to pass the PST without fins. There's 2 phases of this. One, you got to get 2 buds by crushing the PST. If you can already do that, good. Just maintain it. No need to practice a whole lot, right? But I'm dealing with everybody, and there's a lot of people that don't know how to do this. So if you already know how to do this, great. Put on a pair of fins and go nuts. Now, I do recommend this, is only swim with fins on leg days, and at max 3 times a week. Because you swim every day and you're running a lot, typically you're going to have some IT band issues, maybe some patella tendonitis to go with it. So, there's a reason why we don't swim with fins every day, and that's the reason. Besides, if you just limited your swims to a mile to a mile and a half on leg days, that'll give you 3 miles at the end of the week, 2 to 3 miles at the end of the week. And at buds, you got a 2-mile ocean swim every week. Yes, in second phase or third phase, you have a 6-mile ocean swim, but that's just No one fails that. You know, it's just something you just get through, and it's not that hard. It's just boring. So, you know, there's a whole lot of things that you need to practice to get to the training. If you don't pass that PST, you're not getting to the training. Plain and simple. So, yes, that's why we do both. In fact, I'll show you a swim with fins video, if that makes you happy. All right, let me show you this one real quick. So this is my TikTok page. Once again, it's all CSS. There is nothing on here but CSS videos that are submitted and local guys that I'm coaching. So this is a good one here. Kicks off the wall, super streamlined, comes up. He's got a really good breaststroke kick. And you see, it's not very small, but it is powerful. Watch what he's doing. There's 2 strokes, and he's already almost halfway across the pool, or over halfway across the pool. I think this is 4 strokes here. I could be wrong, but anyway, that was like 20 seconds. Super fast. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold that glide. Now, he's a good breaststroker. I am not, so I would never use this stroke. I personally like the scissor kick. Like I showed you in the last swimmer, that was me doing a scissor kick. You know, he did this in like 43 seconds, which is really fast. I mean, he's flirting with 7 flat pace easily. Definitely be sub 8, even if he, you know, goes into a swim, and he'll probably be the first guy to finish, even if he pulls it back a notch and, you know, able to save some for the PT and the run. So this PST is all about being efficient, so you're not blowing it. Here's another reason why you want to practice the CSS without fins, because if you go into this swim and let's say you're not doing 4 strokes a length, but you're doing 12 strokes a length, do you think that extra 8 strokes times 20 is going to affect you on the rest of the PST? Absolutely, it will. It will crush you. You're going to burn a lot of glycogen, a lot of blood sugar. Probably won't have enough left to really crush the run like you want to. So there's a lot of reasons why we pay attention to training the CSS without fins. Besides, you need to be competent in the water without fins, because you're going to be doing drown proofing, you're going to be doing life saving, you're going to be doing underwater knot tying, going to be doing underwater swimming, all without fins. So you need to be good at swimming without fins. Just as once you've crushed this PST and you're feeling pretty solid with your performance, focus on swimming with fins, because you now have to get through the training. I would say there's people with the opposite mindset on this one, you know, with the whole, why should I do this and not this? A lot of people do the opposite, where all they do is don fin swims. They're just swimming without fins. And the first time they ever put on fins is at prep, and they wonder why they can't swim with fins, because they never practiced. So I always tell people we do fin swims every leg day. Fin swims every leg day, twice a week, regardless of where you are in your PST. That's how important swimming with fins is. But it's also very important to swim without fins. Okay, did I beat that one up enough? I think I did. All right, my run times aren't at that 6-minute pace for 3 miles, closer to 7. Okay, that's all right. Now you know where you lack. Do you have any articles, videos, or run workout plans to help me build that aerobic base? Yes, I have many of them. And in fact, all my programs are built towards getting you that aerobic base. But here's a great article called Running Plan to Get You to and Through Training. So this is all about teaching you the 6-minute mile pace and the 7-minute mile pace. All right, so I hear you say you don't like to breaststroke kick because you can't do it with fins. Yes, that is true. But wouldn't it be beneficial to use the breaststroke without fins and then scissor kick with fins? Sure, absolutely. That's what this guy's going to do. So when I was showing you the guy that had a great breaststroke, Sure. Swim without fins with breaststroke all you want. It's probably going to help you with the egg beater as well, because the egg beater is nothing more than an alternating breaststroke kick going vertical. But yeah, and then you swim with fins with scissor. You probably want to use like smaller scissor kick, but flutter kicks with the fins. But yeah, that's what we all do. I personally don't do breaststroke kick just because I'm not as good at it as my scissor kick. Okay, I am. Okay, so you understand the guy that asked a question about the fins, no fins. I am, though, not sure what you're saying here. 1.68 centimeters. Do you believe in height as a factor when you consider the CSS to have a better slide in the water? Not necessarily. Streamline is more of a important factor than height. Though height, you can grab more water with your arms if you have long arms. But I will tell you this. In fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a swim that I find is fascinating. All right, this is my unicorn that I call him, who is about 5'6". So I don't know what that is in meters, centimeters, but put it this way, it's well under 2 meters. So he's probably about 1.6, maybe 1.7 meters, right? Is that right? I don't know. I'm not a metric guy. That's how it is here in the United States. But anyway, this is a short wrestler. I'm going to share this one because this is one of my favorites. And I call him my unicorn swimmer because he is a wrestler who can swim. And if you can do that, you have that athletic history, that mental toughness and drive to be a wrestler for 8 years, and then you learn how to swim on top of it, you're going to be a good spec ops candidate. So check out this guy. And you can tell he's not tall. I mean, look at that. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. He's got a really good, I think he even has a breaststroke kick with that. Would appear so. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. I would say the only thing I have on him is probably just a little bit of shoulder mobility that we're working on, just so he can be a little tighter on that streamline when he's gliding. But he's got a good kick off the wall streamline. So top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Yeah, this is really good. And you're looking at this right here is 47, 48. Yeah, 48 seconds. Yeah, I give him 48 seconds on that one, which is an 8-minute, 500-yard swim for a short guy who is recently learned how to swim. He is not a swimming athlete. So do I think height is an issue? No. I think streamline is more important and powerful kicks and pulls than your height. Yes. Do you have an advantage because you have longer arms and legs? Sure. But it is not a disadvantage. How about that? How do you balance interval training to get faster and longer runs to manage mileage for when you're in the pipeline? I'm not sure what you're asking here. Like training on your own while you're in the pipeline? Because I'll tell you what we did today. Today we did 6 miles. Some guys did 7. And here's how it looked. We warmed up with an easy mile heading towards this hill. Takes us almost 2.25, maybe 2.5 to even get to this hill. So the next 1.5 miles was moving. So we're moving almost like we warm up for the first mile, stretch a little, hit that next 1.5 miles to the hill fast. Make it almost like a timed run effort. Then we're at this hill, and it's a 1/4 mile hill, pretty good grade. And we run sprints up it, we walk down it. Sprints up it, we walk down it. And it sucks. I mean, it's a good, if you're sprinting it and can do it in 90 seconds, that is really good because it is pretty steep. So we found a really good hill that we do this on. We do like 5 or 6 of these. Every hill that we do round trip adds another half mile. Even though we're not running down it, we're just walking down it. Some guys do jog down it just to speed up the process. So that adds another, what's that? You know, mile and a half sprints up, and if you're doing 6 and a mile and a half down of walking. Is that right? Yeah, 6 quarters. Then we got to go back, which is 2.5, 2.25 to get back. And usually what we do there is we mix in quarter mile or half mile intervals to go back. But it's a leg day usually when we do this day. And we mix in squats and lunges at every quarter mile or half mile, depending on the day. Some days it's quarter miles going back. So we do 8, 9 quarters, or it's 800s, and we're doing 4 of those mixed with squats and lunges every set. And that's a good little way to balance interval training for both faster and longer runs. Then afterwards, we put on a pair of fins and we swim with fins because it's a leg day. So, hello, sir. Why have you stopped posting videos to YouTube Shorts? I haven't stopped. I just haven't done them in a while. And it's just because I'm busy. I am a one-man show over here, and being able to post all these things up takes some time, and I have been writing my ass off. Articles, new books, new programming, and so just I will say this, probably in the next month, I'll probably be putting up 2 or 3 a day just to play catch up. But I just have been swamped. Haven't been able to do a whole lot. I'm a former collegiate tennis player. What strengths, weaknesses have you seen with tennis players in your training programs? Well, here's a good one. I had a guy, in fact, he's on my YouTube channel, pretty prominent swim. I think I do a 3-part breakdown with him, and he is a former college tennis player, and he is now an active duty SEAL. Been an active duty SEAL for 7, 8 years. And he got really good at swimming. So check out some of those things. But I would say this: he cross-trained significantly for a good year and a half after his last tennis match, which allowed him to put on some mass. So he handled the boats and logs a little better. He was always fast, so it wasn't that hard to put up. Wasn't that hard for him to hit the run times at his speed. I would say he was probably one of my better prepared overall athletes. He had the speed and agility down, just needed to work on get some mass. And that's what I would say you would need to do at 6'1", 175. I think he went in at like 6'1", 185, 190. So another 10, 15 pounds of good mass that just builds some durability in your legs and back, shoulders, so you can handle the load bearing of rucking and fireman carries and um, um, logs and boats and stuff like that. So this is a great one to kind of transition into the winter lift cycle. That's probably what I would do if I were you, coming off of tennis career. Takes me an hour and 5 minutes to run 4 miles. I'm not overweight, so I think it's a stamina issue, definitely, and speed, because that is very slow. Should I focus on speed workouts or building mileage first? My goal is to run 4 miles in 27 minutes. Now, I will say this: if it's taking you 65 minutes to run 4 miles, you got to be walking, because that's like you should be able to ruck 4 miles with an extra 50 pounds on your back in an hour. So Yeah, you know what? I would work on your endurance, your aerobic abilities, because you don't have any. And I would, instead of worrying about running a whole lot, you know, not being a very good runner, mix in some biking and swimming. Treat it like a triathlon to where you're building your aerobic ability, but it's not all through the impact of running. So you can have 2/3 of your cardio activity be non-impactful, while you are building up some, impact resistance to running itself. So that's what I would do. And you probably need some muscle stamina as well mixed with that. Um, just wondering, like, are you a strength athlete or something? Where's the strengths in this? Because your endurance is a weakness, speed is a weakness. What's your strength, power, calisthenics abilities? Are they okay? Because my suggestion would probably be start off really basic and go with the calisthenics and cardio program. I think I may have a copy of it here. I do not. I do not have that copy, but it's called Calisthenics and Cardio. It's a good way to build up your running ability and also your muscle stamina, which will also help your running. Also, I trained for the Navy SEALs of Greece. I figured, and my CSS time is around 9:20. That's not bad. That's competitive. I usually like try to get guys to 8:20, but it's no big deal. 9:20 is fine. I have, especially if that's meters, 500 meters, and 9:20 is really good because that's 550 yards here. So it's 50 yards longer. So a minute slower than what I normally do is fine. I've tried to do as many slides as I can, but I feel I don't go faster. My stroke counts are 6 to 8 per length. That's not, or 7 to 8 per length. That's not bad. Pool. If you're swimming in a 25-meter pool, I usually try to get 5 to 6 in a 25-yard pool, but 6 to 7 in a 25-meter pool is fine. Yep, it's coming. I just haven't been able to focus on it yet. But I got the workout done. I just need to assemble it and actually put it into a book format. It's coming. Let's see. Also, I wanted to ask, how do you know where it's a quarter or a half mile? Do you use some sort of markings, fixed points, or just measure it? Yeah, you need to measure it. You can measure it with a phone. You can measure it with a yardstick. I don't care. Tape measure. Um, no, I mean, you can go to a track and now it's a quarter mile. Do 2 laps is a half mile. So I'm, sometimes I even have gotten in my car and just rode a loop where I knew I was going to run and just measured it that way. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, now you got watches that can track distance for you and your phone can too. So come on, man. Just measure it. Thank you for taking time to answer all the questions. Greatly appreciate your time, knowledge. Thank you. Glad to help. I'm coming up on an hour. I'm trying to think, what was there something I wanted to show you guys? Did I show you? I showed you my unicorn. Um, Showing you with fins, maybe. How about that? Swim with fins. Let's do a swim with fins video. We'll share this. I thought this one was a pretty good one. All right, so as you can see here, what he's just doing flutter kicks. He holds that glide overhead and he pulls and breathes whenever he needs to breathe. So basically, you stay in this. I do a little dolphin kick off the wall, get the momentum going, and then from there, it's just stay on your side and constantly flutter kick. This is something you don't want to roll over on your belly on. You want to stay on your side and just keep doing these flutter kicks. He could be a little tighter on his arm recovery, but overall, this is a really good swim. Nice. He's not bicycling his knees. Knees are bending a little bit, but that's okay. The thing that you don't want it to look like is like you're riding a bicycle, like big knee bends. But yeah, like I said, this is a leg day. We swim with fins every leg day. You can see he's working on his streamline too. Told him his posture's bad and he's trying to focus on that, which I think he could do a little bit better with his recovery. But overall, pretty good streamline. I meant for the way to the hill and backwards when you are doing squats in between quarters. Yeah, you know what? We have a trail where we run, and it actually has, it's a bike trail, and it actually has half-mile markers every half mile. So there's already a marker system where we run in this trail system that we use to run on. So it actually is like a 26-mile, it's a 26-mile trail, and every half mile is marked. So, but guys have it on their phone and on their watch, and you know you can definitely mark it up that way as well. Or you can just go time, like your goal pace for a, let's say your goal pace for a 400 is a 1:30, and your goal pace for an 800 is a 3-minute. So just run 3 minutes and understand there's a certain amount of effort that's involved in running at your goal pace. You need to try to muscle memory that. So if you don't have that distance, you're going to be close if you run 3 minutes at that particular effort level. So that's another way to do it. But there's no excuse why you can't measure stuff nowadays. Everything is hooked up to a satellite, and I'm sure you could even get Waze to measure it for you, or Google Maps. So yes, pool's 25 meters. 920 is great in a 25-meter pool because that is 550 yards here, which is another lap, which would be another 50, 60 seconds for most people. I wanted to ask how many sessions for running, swimming, and gyms are good enough to achieve the best results. Well, we run 5 to 6 days a week. We swim 5 days a week. And we do a lot of calisthenics or lifting, sometimes combined in a split routine. Mondays upper body, Tuesdays lower body, Wednesdays mobility, Monday or Thursdays upper body or lower body, depending on how we're going to do it. And then Friday is the opposite of what we did on Thursday, and Saturday is the opposite of what we did on Friday. So some days you can do 3 upper bodies in a week. Some weeks you do 3 lower body days in a week. I like to mix it up a little bit. So maybe 2 weeks out of the month, I'm doing 3 upper body days, especially if I have a group that is really focusing on pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, or building upper body strength. And then if I got a group that is preparing to be shipping out for buds soon, I like to do 3 leg days a week because they are going to be leg dominant in the first 5 weeks. There's a lot of running, rucking, and sand. There's load bearing, logs and boats, chest carry lunges with a log. Gets a lot of reps. So you're going to do a lot more leg PT than upper body PT once you're at buds. So try to make sure the guys are well prepared for all the squats and lunges and running with weight that they're going to have to do. So there you go. To and through, right? Got to get to the training in order to get through the training. And you're not going to get through the training if you're only focusing on getting to the training. 2 phases where most people fail in high attrition rate training programs is they neglect one of those 2 phases. Period. I've seen people not even get accepted to the training because they couldn't pass a PST. I've seen people not get through the training because all they did was practice getting good at the PST. Can't do that. All right, folks. So I appreciate the comments and the questions. You guys did a great job with that. Give me a like, thumbs up. This thing runs on likes, not asking for money. Just give me a like. And I appreciate that. Share it with somebody who thinks needs to hear it. And if you're looking for programming that actually has a lot of these answers all built into it, go to Stu Smith Fitness, and you'll find a lot of answers to your questions, whether it's in the articles or in programs, books, and ebooks that have already been created specifically to get to and through the training. All right, folks, I'm done. You guys have a good rest of the week. I will probably have another podcast out. I'm going to interview a Master Chief SEAL and talk about his journey. So look for that probably early next week or maybe later this week. We'll see. All right, folks, have a good one. Stu Smith out.